Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Public. Music. Hi. Hi, hi. No, eternal atake. Ataka. We're not here to review that or anything, but this is a Q&A live stream. We used to do these quite often. And at the tail end of last year, I did have some family stuff going on that has made it difficult to do these more regularly. But the schedule has cleared up a smidge bit more. And hopefully I'm going to get back into the habit of doing these, whether they are at night or during the day. I'm not exactly sure on a time slot or schedule yet, but I will be trying to do as many of these as often as possible, and just kind of get them back in regular rotation. Hello, how are you, says Boohoo. I'm pretty good. And Kate Bush, worst to best. I theorized about doing such a thing a while ago, but I have no plans to sort of do a worst to best for a little bit because the review and just life and just regular schedule stuff is so intense at the moment that I just don't have the spare time to allot to an entire worst to best video. I am hoping now that it's March to get at least maybe a few March Madness videos out. I guess we'll see. I saw a pretty cool Bob Dylan bracket that I might do. But again, this is a Q&A live stream. I will be trying to do as many of your super chats as possible, answering your questions, and just taking your questions, answering them as thoroughly as possible, interacting with you guys, and just chilling. Somebody asked me about psychedelic porn crumpets. For psychedelic rock, I think their music's pretty generic, frankly. Not too crazy about what they do. I think it's fine, if you're crazy about the genre, but I'm not too into what they do. And also remind you, the $2 ones tend to disappear really quickly. I do tend to get a lot of these thrown at me all at once. So, if you do want me to catch your question, it's probably best to not to go that route. Although review the Loathe album. I think it's got some cool heavy moments, but the Deftones-ish parts just felt really derivative and boring. 1349's latest record I thought was just okay. Never really been a big fan of them. And Wesley Willis is a god. Frank Zappa worst to best. No chance of that happening anytime soon. And Killer Cut's 10 out of 10 Melon. I don't know what that is, so I cannot say. And Ice Wallow... Ice Wallow Cum. Nice. I love it. All right. Where does Steroids fall in my favorite DG releases? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure where that falls. It's definitely, I like it more than Government Plates, that's for sure. All right, let me get into some of these. Shit. Why the fuck did you do that, YouTube page? There we go. Browser. All right, let's get into some of these bitches. All right, here we go. Have I listened to Cheek Face? No, I have not. I will put that in my phone, but I have not listened to Cheek Face. I have no clue what the fuck that is. But any suggestions that you would like to ask me about, you can always just send me an email at, anthony@theneedledrop.com. It's probably best to maybe do it that way and, save your money for like a more robust question. Vibe check of the day. I don't have one today. Didn't go out today for a vibe check, so didn't have one today. Are you gonna take 2 years to release the EA review like Uzi did his album? I'm gonna say, ow! Thank you for the 200. But yeah, I think I will take 2 years to do it, just for artistic and cohesive purposes. Thoughts on hype culture overall, good, bad thing? I'm fine with it generally. If people want to be hype about some shit, I assume we're talking about music. That's fine with me. Fandoms, stans, hype, just kind of a part of the natural ecosystem of music culture. Have I listened to the new 4 Year Strong record? I have not. I didn't know they had a new one out. I will put that in my phone. I've never been a big fan of the band, but again, didn't know they had a new one out. I'll try to peep it. I'll check it out later. All right, moving on from there. I did the hype culture one. Pink Floyd worst to best. I know everyone wants it. There's just no chance of it happening anytime soon. We didn't like the background music and Let's Argue, but we still care about you. Well, it was an annoying song, Let's Argue, and it is a really bad royalty-free ukulele music. So that was kind of the point. I'm glad you guys liked or disliked the music because you were supposed to. Dude, if you're vegan, do you eat pussy? Yes. Asked to. What are my thoughts on 10,000 Maniacs? I think they're pretty good. A fan of theirs sent me a record, their most classic LP a while back, but I haven't listened to it in a long time, and I walked away from it with positive impressions. Alternatively, the Sundays, folky post-Smith music in general. Yeah, I mean, generally it's not my favorite style of music, but, I do see a lot of it as kind of like transcendence of post-punk in a lot of way, and I have a lot of respect for that genre. How do I feel about NF? Would I ever consider reviewing his latest album? I thought his latest record was kind of corny, frankly. I just don't really care for a lot of these overly melodramatic, fast-rapping white rappers. I mean, it's just, I'm so over it, frankly. I just don't see a lot of interest in what he does, for me personally. And at the end of the day, I have to kind of be at least a little bit passionate about what I'm reviewing. Thoughts on the new Trico record? I'm thinking about reviewing it. It is on my calendar for next week, potentially. What's my opinion on Scarlord? I think he's one-dimensional as hell. Pretty much every Scarlord song sounds the same to me. Hey, long time no see. Quick question. What is the best mashup album of the century, and why is it MTV Presents Collision Course? I haven't heard that one. I mean, I've heard a lot of mashup records. I love that Kids and Explosions one that came out a long time ago. Just look up Kids and Explosions and you'll find it. And Girl Talk has some great ones too. So, I don't know. Those are some of my faves. Hello, hope your day is going well. I was hoping, have I had any good Japanese shoegaze? Not lately. If you know any, just give me any shoegaze albums I might not know, please. No, I've not heard any lately, and I wouldn't say I'm an expert on Japanese shoegaze either, so I can't really say. I mean, you probably know about more of the genre than I am if you're over here asking about it, but I would look up Rate Your Music. You could probably find artists by country there, by genre, and you'll probably get a whole shit ton of recommendations. XTC albums worst to best is first off, ow! Is their discography that big? I've heard a couple of their albums that I like. Favorite Rolling Stones, I think, is Let It Bleed or Out of Our Heads. But does XTC have that many records? I wasn't under the impression they had that many albums to begin with. Post-punk legends, though, man. Post-punk fucking legends. I'm glad you enjoyed Circles as much as Mac's fan base. I was wondering what I thought of the final track, Once a Day, and if you maybe saw the music videos with each song. I did not see the music videos with each song. And did I not talk about that track in the review? I thought it was okay. It was a very mild closer for the record. But, how do you expect an album like that to end? Who knows? Considering he was still in the process of making it, was that the closer that he would have wanted? Is that how it would have panned out in actuality? I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was kind of a mild finish for the album. Truly the highlights are in the middle and in the front end of the record. But no, I actually have not caught any of the music videos. I tend to avoid a lot of that stuff. Please review the new Boldy James and Alchemist. I haven't heard it yet. I mean, maybe I will at some point. I'll put it in my phone. Since you're saying the storytelling is bomb. All right, next up, I just listened to In Rainbows for the first time in Best Radiohead record. I think it's a second or third best at least. One of the best of all time, yes. It is an amazing album, no doubt about that. I have no hatred for that record in my heart. Thank you very much, Sir Serenity Falls. Very much greatly appreciated, greatly appreciated. Thank you, Brian Dunn. Greatly appreciated as well. And got that one. Ba-bam. Also, what are my thoughts on A Day to Remember? Never was big on A Day to Remember, and what are my thoughts on Little Tekka's debut album? I thought it kind of sucked. As far as auto crooners and this new wave, he seems like he is very much talent deficient. Just didn't really see the point in even talking about it. It was so obviously not all that great. Love the content, been watching since 2015. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, nothing against rappers who are in his lane in general. I just think there are way more interesting acts out there. Thoughts on the South by Southwest cancellation? I will talk about that in a second. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. But yeah, my thoughts on the cancellation is that it's necessary, frankly. I mean, look, the reason that people are not freaking out about the coronavirus thing so far is that our government is literally doing nothing about it. And, Donald Trump and the Republicans don't want people to freak out because the stock market is already shitting the fucking bed off of what little information there is out there already. I just had a case, called in my home state. And look, even though you may look at the statistics and see death rate 3.4%, that's still in America, assuming most people catch it, that's still millions of people. And while I know that young children and you guys and me mostly are going to be safe from any sort of near-death experience as a result of the virus, having said that, if you are an older person, or someone who's older, especially if there's someone who has a lung or a heart condition, their chances of dying from the disease actually increase double, even up to 10% in some cases. So, protect your old people, man. I for right now would be avoiding concerts, avoiding festivals. I don't think it's a great idea to, sort of like be going around with this shit floating about. If you can avoid, situations where, you're at risk as many of them as possible. So, I mean, South by, I thought they were going to go through with it. And frankly, the fact that they've shut it down, I think it's a good move, because you don't want to be responsible for the spread of it. Great to see the live stream back, but sometimes I worry my favorite melon is getting overworked. I am getting overworked sometimes, but, not necessarily because I'm doing too much with this. Again, a lot of personal stuff going on in my life as of late, which, all good stuff, but stuff that's kept me very busy. And, just trying to find a good work-life balance and everything. And, the fact that I'm able to do this is a sign that, I'm back in a place where I feel more energized to do this. If TND continues to grow bigger, how will I continue to balance the workload? All the best, Anthony. As of right now, as long as it continues to get bigger, in ways that don't require me to do anything that I'm not already doing, the workload will be fine. It's only if I'm taking on extra stuff that things become more difficult. King Gizzard worst to best. I am tempted to do that, and I am considering it because it would be pretty easy, even though they are still coming out with records, but I am thinking about it. What's my favorite King Gizzard album that I haven't reviewed? I haven't reviewed there aren't too many that I haven't reviewed, but I think maybe the best one I haven't covered is Mind Fuzz, but that's not even one of my favorites, you know what I mean? So, all right, Melon, I appreciate the time and energy you put into your videos. You help me see every day that music is worth living for. It truly is. Thank you for what you do. Well, thank you very much for supporting Bob Squatch. Melone. I want to make music with a group of somewhat like-minded people. I tried Craigslist and it was not good. Yeah, Craigslist can be a fucking nightmare. I did that shit back in the day and it was really fucking weird. I feel like if I tried talking to people at shows, it would be pointless. What are my thoughts? I don't know. I mean, I would try places other than Craigslist, especially places that musicians and the good musicians hang out. I mean, take Brockhampton, for example. All or most of those dudes met on the Kanye message boards. You know what I mean? So try looking in more online spaces where musicians are at and doing cool musician things. And since, you're on the internet, it's so much easier to collaborate over the internet these days than it used to be. So, try to use that to your advantage and maybe not even meet people in person, but, maybe you're making a beat and another person is rapping or someone's playing bass over it. You know what I mean? So there are other ways to figure it out. What's my opinion on the JoJo OPs? I can't say I have any opinion on that. And I'll just pop it in my phone and I will try to educate myself later. I'm sorry. I'm a pleb. I'm a fucking normie. I'm a loser. I don't know everything. I'm sorry, God Level Threat. I'm sorry. Just let me kiss you. Do I listen to any Sybient, like carbon-based lifeform, Spangle, solar fields? A little bit of Spangle after it has been recommended to me by you guys numerous times in previous live streams, but admittedly, it's not one of my favorite genres of music. Yeah. Boom, boom, boop, boop, boo, boo, okay, this one. Would I ever listen to Avenged Sevenfold? Well, I have. I don't really care for their approach to metal music and rock music, but I have listened to them before. I think their music's a tad too, campy and overproduced, but, if you like them, you like them. It's just not my kind of rock music. Yes, they have at least 8. They're criminally underrated, so you could bring them more attention. I assume you're still talking about Ecstasy. They also did an homage to 60-second pop rock called Dukes of the Stratosphere. Okay, cool. I will try to dig into their stuff further. I mean, again, I do love their very herky-jerky, danceable, very post-punk inspired work, as that is, sort of one of my favorite strains of music. And I will try to do better with digging into their other records. What are my thoughts on Hiatus Coyote's Choose Your Weapon today? They're the same, literally the same. Yes, stand by my opinion. Still don't care for the record. I am looking forward to the new album, though. Maybe it will click with me. Maybe the new one will. And where is it? I want to hear new music. I want to hear it. I am legitimately curious. Have you ever heard Contrastics? Really underrated Czech Death Grind album? Ooh, that sounds kind of cool. I'll look it up. Popped it in the phone. Thank you for the reco, Brecco. Ow! I should really check out the new Caroline Rose record, Superstar, that came out this past Friday. You put one of her tracks, Freak Like Me. I did like that Freak Like Me track. Oh, is that record out? Sorry, I lost track. I'll put it in my phone, especially since I did like that Freak Like Me track. A Shining Pop concept album about love and fame. Oh, cool. Sounds pretty cool. Agree or disagree, white lyrical miracle spiritual pinnacle mineral rappers and the ideology behind it in hip-hop equals bet you can't play this type mindless shredding in metal music. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely like some parallels between rapping fast and just playing guitar really fast. You know what I mean? Obviously, technically it is impressive, but artistically it doesn't really amount to all that much unless you're like actually melodically or lyrically communicating something of substance, you know? So it is what it is. Thoughts on the last Menzingers record? If the last Menzingers record is the one that I remember listening to, I thought I was pretty underwhelmed by it and might have even talked about it in a Why You Know review. Dylan, ow! Thank you for the 20. But yeah, I thought it was kind of an underwhelming rock record, frankly. Hello, Melon. Sorry if this is too personal, but I've always been curious. Did you and your wife meet? And was she the one? You two are very cute. I met my wife back in 2009, and like we met online during a time when that was like not too popular of a thing. I mean, now everybody's like meeting and fucking on Tinder or whatever. But like back in the day, like when we met online, it was like perceived as kind of a weird thing. But yeah, we've been together ever since 2009. Hell yeah. Who made the better cult album, Little Uzi Vert or Captain Murphy? Oh, I haven't even heard the new Uzi Vert all the way through yet, and it's definitely fucking Captain Murphy. Also, has the rapper Silk Money been on my radar? I've heard a couple tracks, I think, but nothing that stopped me in my tracks. In my reviews of the last two Bon Iver LPs, you criticized the drums for being terribly mixed. My view is that it's more of a stylistic choice than an error. Yeah, I mean, look, something can be an intentional stylistic choice, but still not sound all that good to me. Not to imply that the drums sound that way accidentally. I mean, Justin Vernon most likely has access to, like, there are like incredibly talented producers who would just fucking, you know, grovel and worship the ground that Justin walks on for 2 months straight just to have the ability to mix a Bon Iver record. But, you know, he chooses to go an alternative route. And I personally think the way that he chooses to mix his drums on his records is not all that great, at least, you know, recently anyway. What's my early pick for best album of the 2020s? Oh, I can't even say that as of right now because like we're so early into the decade. And I haven't even given anything a 9 yet, you know, so there's not even really any telling on that front, but, it is probably going to be Daydreaming by Uncle Adams. So, you know, good for him. Any advice for someone who would want to get into music reviewing in video format, somewhat like yours? Separate question. Have I listened to Six Impala Rubber? Yes. I thought it was just okay. You know, a pretty versatile electronic record, but, not a lot that I felt like, was coming through as distinct or all that bold. But still, having said that, consistency is really key as far as like, you know, getting your videos and getting people to kind of trust you and, you know, follow you regularly. That's really all I can say as of right now, because look, when you're starting out and nobody's following you, nobody really has a reason to believe or read or trust you or think anything that you're saying is true. So, you know, it's going to take a certain amount of time to build up that trust. And that takes regularity. That takes quality reviews. That takes, you know, giving your own bold opinion that sticks with people. Is your top 20 albums of the decade 10 out of 10s? No, the top 20 albums of the decade are not 10 out of 10s. I don't think. No, I mean, certainly a lot of the records in the top 10 are, and maybe a couple of them have shifted since I initially reviewed them to a 10, but, no, not my top 20. Auburn Wanderer. Ow! Thank you for the 20. Ow, ow, ow. Anthony, I hope you're doing well with the family situation you have mentioned. Well, it's not a situation as much as it is just life, you know. Life as you get older, you know, changes and, you know, your schedule shifts and things get busier, things get not busy. You know, things change. And I have to try to balance that with my work as much as possible because I have a life to live and, you know, not everything I do revolves around work. I have 2 questions. When am I going to do another vinyl update? When I start listening to vinyl again, which my record setup is broken down because I moved my office into another room. I'm planning on eventually moving this office into another room. And when I do, I will put the set it back together. And I just haven't been listening to records as of late, and that's why I've not done an update. When am I going to do another vinyl update? Would I consider doing a Swan's worst to best video? I would consider it, but considering I am still pretty busy, I don't have time necessarily to pour into another worst to best as of right now. I missed my last message. I apologize. LOL. Here's $10 more, but that's it. Here's $5 more. My message: please give more insight on Banks 3. Yeah, I just thought the singing was bland. I thought the atmospheric production and the instrumentals had no teeth, and generally, I just thought the record lacked soul, lacked passion. I just thought it was her most underwhelming release yet. Sorry I don't have more details on individual tracks or anything like that, but I've never been a big Banks fan to begin with, and I feel like after 3 records, if you're not winning me over yet, like what are we doing? You know, and look, I am sure her fans love the record, and I'm glad if they did, but it's just not really doing much for me. Have I listened to the new Spanish Love Songs album, Brave Faces? I have not. I will pop it in my phone here, and hopefully check it out later. All right. Thank you for the reco and the support. Prophet New York, thoughts on Post Malone concert video? Looks like he's going down a dark road with drugs. I hope he's okay. Yeah, I get that a lot of people were insinuating that off of the video. It looked like he was just having a passionate moment to me on the stage. If we're referring to the same video, the one where he was wearing like the red jersey, just looked like he was having a passionate moment on stage. I mean, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, Post Malone does drugs. Like we all know that, but you know, I didn't necessarily see that moment in time as like proof of addiction. You know, he could have just been having an emotional moment, you know, where he's performing and he's passionate. Who the hell knows? But, you know, if he is getting into that stuff and he is going down a dark path, I wish him the best and I hope he gets out of it. And, you know, you know, I hope he reaches out to people who love him, care for him, and, you know, can help him through this. Would I agree that Revolver is a better album than Sgt. Pepper's? Also John and Paul solo stuff. I prefer John's solo stuff. And I think Sgt. Pepper's is definitely the more ambitious record. Revolver, I think, maybe has the edge on some tunes. And if you don't like how campy and, you know, theatrical some bits of Sgt. Pepper's is, then you're probably going to fuck with Revolver a lot more. And maybe for those reasons, I personally fuck with Revolver a lot more. Even though Sgt. Pepper's is by no means bad, it's just not maybe in my top 5 Beatles records, maybe, if I had to think about it more, but, you know, definitely not in my top 3. Missed my last message. Would I ever do a Primal Scream worst to best or classic review? I might do a Screamadelica classic review at one point, but probably not like a worst to best, but definitely like a classic review at some point of that record. Hey Melon, big fan. Have I checked out any of Baby Keem's music? I have. Not a fan, but it's you know, just not for me probably. If you have, what's my opinion of him? Keep up the good work. Slat! Yeah, I haven't really been into Big Baby Keem. I mean, dude has a sense of humor, but like listening to his stuff, you know, one after another, it just kind of like, you know, became a chore for me. Have I listened to Aaron Freeman's solo album? I have not. That guy's right about XTC. They're fantastic. Yes, XTC is good. I just have not checked out the whole discography. That's all. And I did pop what you just suggested into my phone. I think it's on the level of any Ween album. Ooh, that sounds cool. It's an interesting prospect. Thank you, Brendan. John Hoskins. Ow, 26. Damn. Thank you, bitch. Mwah. Anthony, for some reason, I've been on a Tori Amos kick, especially Boys for Pele type stuff. Are there any related or similar artists you could recommend? In my opinion, Tori Amos is kind of like, you know, a unique bird. I don't have a whole lot of Tori Amos recommendations off the top of my head. I have a friend of mine who I am not as connected with as I was a while ago, who used to literally like follow her all around the world and go to every Tori Amos show. And it was like, you know, a pilgrimage for her essentially. And, you know, she was a part of like a group of hardcore fans who, you know, all would just go to every goddamn show. And, you know, she's like a ton of selfies with Tori, and, you know, Tori basically, you know, knows her or recognizes her as, you know, the fan who's at every performance. You know, I've had some deep conversations with her about Tori and, you know, her art and her music. And, you know, I've seen Tori live over at Primavera Sound, you know, the year that I went. While she's not someone whose records I own, she is someone who is obviously immensely talented, writer and player, someone who I have a lot of respect for. sometimes I think her music is maybe a bit too frilly, or I want to say maybe a bit too drawn out in some senses for me. But again, I think she's I think she's great, and I just apologize that I don't have recommendations for you off of this. But know that in my heart and in my mind, I do have a great respect for Tori. I know this is a dumb question, but do you have an all-time favorite artist? No, not really. Maybe some favorites off the top of my head are Doom and Wu-Tang and Wire and Pink, fucking Talking Heads and Mission of Burma and Roland Kirk, as well as Kate Bush and Bjork and trying to think of some others, LCD Sound System and Kendrick and Death Grips, but that's all I can think of right now. Ooh, damn. I hate that the fucking YouTube page sends me back that way. Do I know the band Sticky Fingers? I feel like I've heard that name before, but I don't think I've heard their stuff. Would I make an album review? I'll put it in my phone. I mean, I would have to hear the record first. Popped it in, but no promises as of right now, outside of, checking them out at some point. I can also listen to it. Okay, I'll try to check that out too. For one of the worst songs made. Okay. YCB boy band Lo Mejor de Chile, Vota Rechazo Melon. Okay. All right. I hope I didn't say anything terrible just then. Thank you, the 703 Collective. Thank you for listening. Listening to me about XTC. McCartney was the best Beatle out of the group and had an ear for making experimental tracks like the song Secret Friend off McCartney 3. Thoughts? Generally McCartney had, the poppier ear of the Beatles. But I have no doubt that he had an adventurous side as well. I mean, he was an artist after all, and one of the most successful of all time. Although I can't say I'm familiar with those sort of more of the outer limits of Paul's discography. So moving on from there. Is early 90s the best era of music? Coming from someone who lived through that era, it was a pretty good era. I mean, I don't know if I would say it was the best era of all time, but it was a pretty good era. We had a golden age of alt rock, death metal, black metal, hip hop, shoegaze, indie rock. It's kind of true, but also, like, in my opinion, lots of killer stuff was going on in the 80s as well, in terms of hardcore punk and lots of new wave and synth music. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff going on in the 80s as well. But, don't put down the 90s. 2000s were pretty good. 2000s were pretty good. A lot of great indie, subgenres and stuff like that were really artistic and neat and fun. And some great post-rock records and, some good backpack rap shit and underground hip-hop shit. So, 2000s weren't too bad either. But I think I do prefer the 90s to the 2000s. But this past decade is definitely one of my favorite decades of music, no doubt. And hopefully the 2020s, shape up to be good as well. On my last Why You Know review, I stated that Russ was playing against his talents by rapping. My question is to you, good sir, what the hell is his talents? Not by rapping. I'm saying the guy technically is a decent rapper. It's just that the content of his music is not all that good. Like, I wish Russ has a decent delivery. You know what I mean? It's just that he's not really saying anything all that fucking interesting. Which is ultimately my issue with him. Like, his beats are underwhelming and very basic a lot of the time. His content is boring, and the hooks on his tracks are pretty weak a lot of the time too. So, I mean, in my opinion, rapping is one of the best things, just the ability to spit and form flows and sound pretty confident and authoritative in his voice and in his style and just in himself. That is probably the best thing Russ has going for him. Outside of that, everything is just like off. If he was going to make better music, I would recommend like writing about topics that are maybe a bit more relatable or thought-provoking. And beyond that, like maybe work with some other producers or maybe change your producing game up a little bit and maybe work with some songwriters too, because like, man, the choruses have to get better because they cannot be what they currently are on his new record. What's my opinion on Bon Iver's For Emma Forever Ago? Sonically, I mean, and it is a lo-fi record, but sonically, I wish it was a little more lush. But I will say the songwriting is good, and for as rough around the edges as it is, there are a lot of like, aha moments on the record in terms of like the vocals and the auto-tune and everything. So, it's undeniably a creative album. And, again, tunes are good. Tunes are enjoyable. But Bon Iver still remains not, one of my favorites in that style. But I can still, see the talent and see the genius in what he was attempting to do. Second question, if I've listened to it, did I like Miss Me by Division? I didn't hear that one, so I can't comment. But I do know the project, but I have not heard that one. Can I add to your list of most annoying songs, It's a Small World from Disney World? That is an annoying fucking song. That is true. I will not deny that, and I'll be pretty quick to condemn that song off of being annoying. Come on, You Know It Belongs and Let It Go from Frozen. Ugh. The entire Frozen soundtrack is over fucking rated, but don't even get me started on that because that's like, an hour-long video. Have you ever listened to the newish Fiddler record? I did. I thought it was one of their more versatile records, but there were tracks on it that to me were either forgettable or were either too clean to the point where it's like, are you just like trying to make a pop rock record or something? Like, what is going on? And it sort of lacked a central identity too. I'm glad they were experimenting a little bit, but it just wasn't all that cohesive. Hey, Melon, and, for the past couple of people, ow, 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 ow. Thank you for that fucking 20. And Leo, ow, thank you for that 22. Hey, Melon, is there a chance that you would come to Montreal on my next tour? Look, over this coronavirus shit, I'm not going anywhere for a while. I would like to do more Canada dates at some point, though. Though the next batch of dates I would like to do at some point hopefully would be in the Midwest, as I have not covered that area yet, and maybe from there I can kind of pop up to Canada at some point. But, with all this shit going around, I ain't leaving this place. I ain't leaving this fucking place. At least not on a tour anyway. And if I'm looking for good French Canadian music, okay. I'll pop that in my phone. Thank you. Hey, Melon, I missed my last one. I'm sorry about that. So here's 10 more. I was wondering what I thought of indie pop duo Oh Wonder. I don't think I've heard them. I can't comment as I have not heard it, but I will pop it in the phone. Question about Chile. They wanted you to promote in the question about Chile, they wanted you to promote a right-wing ideology that's terrible. That is fucking shitty. Well, I apologize for that. That is not something I endorse. Any kind of Pinochet type fucking ideology or whatever. That is definitely not something I fuck with. So fuck that. Thank you for, telling me about that. I should be more wary of reading things in languages I don't speak like a fucking idiot. Let me see. Missed my last messages. I apologize. But biggest musical disappointments and surprises of all time or the last decade, whichever is easier. If you get my older one, enjoy. This money is a bonus. So biggest musical disappointments and surprises of all time or the last decade. Biggest musical surprises, disappointments or surprises. Disappoint fucking rule. And I thought it was going to be like, their best. It was going to be 10 out of 10 or some shit. And it just was not. Another major disappointment for me personally was maybe the Chance the Rapper record. Because honestly, while I've never been the biggest Chance fan, like, fuck, that was Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to name any more to answer your question, but yeah, Jesus Christ, that fucking Chance record. It still kills me. I took no joy in giving that record a 0. That record should have been at least an 8. It should have been at least a fucking 8. Hey, Anthony, 2 questions. Am I a fan of Sonic Youth? Mildly, like a Goo, Sister, Daydream Nation. Those are some of my favorites. What is a common songwriting blunder that less experienced musicians should try to avoid? Not segmenting your songs in a way where there's strong contrast between the different sections of the track, or not really working out any kind of interesting transition or segue from one section of the track to another, and allowing just the verse to very blandly and flatly transition into the chorus without any kind of gap or build up or anything. It just makes your songs feel really one fucking dimensional. Sonic Youth worst to best, not anytime soon, but still. Ow! Thank you for the 20. Ow! Thank you for the 20. Hey, Tony, have I ever listened to the new Half Moon Run record? I have not. I've been spamming your socials while I apologize for not seeing it. And I will pop it in my phone and I will try to check it out at a later time. And favorite Megadeth album, probably their debut or the sophomore. I think those are two of their best. But that's just my opinion. Excuse me. Let me see. Thoughts on the possibility of a new Everything record this year? I just hope they go back in a slightly more adventurous direction is honestly all that I hope, because I felt like they played it way too fucking safe on the last record. And Everything is not even that experimental of a band. You know, it's not like their last, the record before their last was like totally wild fucking left field out there. It wasn't even as weird as a Battles record, as much as there are similarities on that record to a Battles record. It's still pop rock. But man, like, the cool rhythms and intricate instrumentation, like, were really awesome. And, if anything, the band needs to get a bit more adventurous. Have I listened to the Japanese House? She's on the same label as the 1975. No, I have not. I will pop it in my phone. And a Mount Erie worst to best would be fucking fun. But again, no chance of it happening anytime soon. We have, will I do a classics review on Nin or Elliott Smith? Probably, both are definitely in the cards. I'll maybe start writing some of these down now. Just to classics, 9 Inch Nails, E. Smith, and Primal Scream. Just as some prospects, and maybe I'll challenge myself with a Tori Amos. Just to do it, just to fucking do it. Damn, Sasuke AZN. Damn, bro. Ow! Thank you for the goddamn 100. Just a general question. What is my opinion summary of Breaking Benjamin as a whole? Really? You've given me $100 for me to tell you that I don't like Breaking Benjamin? I'm not laughing at you. I personally wish I had nicer things to say about Breaking Benjamin. I don't. I just think they're a really underwhelming alternative rock band with, I personally don't even think Breaking Benjamin, after all the years they've been together, has a classic under their belt. So I really don't know. I just think they're a very forgettable band. Not as bad as like a Nickelback or anything like that, but not really too far off from, just being like a very by the numbers, commercially friendly rock band, with not that much in terms of guts. But, I'm the type of person that likes wild performances and noise and aggression and adventure. And I just think Breaking Benjamin is just too predictable, too safe a band. I don't know. I just think their sound for the genre is very average. Hopefully you're not heartbroken. Know that this is just my opinion at the end of the day. And if you fucking love Breaking Benjamin, that's fine. That's okay. There are some groups that I like that, in the grander scheme of music, sure, they're mediocre. Cake, for an example. I loved Cake as a kid. I fucking loved the band Cake. And still to this day, there are some songs of theirs, even though it's full of a lot of cringy white boy raps and, a lot of fucking fedora type trumpets, that, I can look back and say, okay, that's kind of what that fucking vibe is. But, I still kind of like the tunes. I still think the bass lines are fucking killer. But Breaking Benjamin is just not the band for me. Just not the band for me. Did I listen to Sebastian's new album? I have not really been a big fan of Sebastian so far, but I was kind of waiting for that record. Some people were telling me it was going to drop at some point last year, and it didn't. So, I guess I am curious. I'll put it on the phone and just kind of remind myself to try it. If so, thoughts. And did I ever listen to Woman Worldwide by Justice? No, I actually didn't end up getting to that. And that's like kind of like a new live record, isn't it? I didn't actually end up getting to it. I'll try to remind myself to listen to it at another point. But I ended up slipping by me after I just had other original studio records to cover and talk about. What impact, to obviously all three of you, ow, 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 and Ravens, ow, and Savita, ow. What impact do I believe Amy Winehouse would have on music if she was still alive? I don't know how much impact she would have, because the thing is that Amy, she's such a one-of-a-kind talent that's not the type of thing that as an artist you just hear and you're like, I'm going to copy that. Because, she just had that voice, she had that range, she had that presence, she had that beefy, just womanly fucking voice. And again, not anything that you could just up and copy and just decide to do. Amy, her songs were good. Her songs were good quality songs. I mean, maybe if she stuck around for a little bit longer, that would be more valued or something. But hey, like everybody eventually puts out a dud type of record. And, it's to me personally, the biggest loss of it all and the saddest thing is just her decline. I just wish it didn't go down that way. And I wish she was able to get help, regardless of whether or not she ended up coming out with 5 or 6 or 7 more fucking records. It's just really kind of sad looking back on it and just the way things played out. It didn't have to be that way. And, it just is really unfortunate. Excuse me. Ow, Billy. My friend's band Anal Catharsis made a grind metal song sampling one of your videos from a while back. It's on Bandcamp and it's called Thick Vegan Smoothie. I will look that up. I do get sampled in quite a few songs. Most often it's either some kind of extreme metal or dubstep or something. I don't know why that is. There's a lot of dubstep out there on SoundCloud, like sampling the thick ass boy meme for some reason, but I guess it is what it is. Let's see, Isaac. Wait, no, I gotta get. Oh, fuck, Isaac. I swear I'll get to your shit. Hey, Melon, I've always wondered, why am I not a fan of Christine and the Queens? No reason in particular. I just feel like I haven't heard a whole lot of songs that have blown me away. And the last full-length record to me was just too goddamn bloated to manage. I think she makes very well-produced, emotional, consistently beautiful music and is also a great entertainer. I think she has presence, and she definitely has pizzazz. I do not deny that. I am going to give her new EP a deeper listen and, maybe even potentially a review on the Fantano channel and, kind of go from there and hopefully, kind of get more intimate with her music from there. But I just felt like her last record was too much of a beast to wrestle with, and there were too many songs that on listening to the record through a few times and just trying to get acclimated to it, just felt like duds to me, and it just felt unnecessarily bloated. But despite the highlights on the LP. But look, there are moments where vocally I am very enamored with what she's doing. And hopefully this new EP, despite me thinking one of the teasers was just okay, hits and really makes me recalibrate my feelings on Christine and the Queen's music. Ow! Hey, Anthony, will I be willing to listen to my band's album, The Arrows of Our Ways? Anthony at theneedledrop.com. That's my email. You are free to send submissions over there. And, if they catch my eye and your pitch is good and you are really quick with the link, don't send me a fucking, 10-page letter and then put the, 10 links at the bottom. Send me a link to your best track instead. Just make it easy. Just send it over there. And we write triumphantly melodic black metal. That sounds cool. About the journey of the self in a time or ecological detriment. I hope I'm doing well. I am doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good tonight. Great to see. I'm in health, gymming, food. I've not been gymming lately because I do not want to get coronavirus, but I am, trying to do a little bit of running and, sort of like body weight exercises to keep in shape. Food is good, though. Food has been good. Is the chasm between arts and jocks still enduring or narrowing? Look, at this point, I am fucking old. I am like out of high school, out of college. Most of the people I interact with day to day are either like you guys online or my family and close friends. So, I mean, those types of social circles where I can gauge like, what's going on in the arts, what's going on with the jocks, like I am totally disconnected from. I will say this, though, there are quite a few people who are heavy into sports and sports culture who watch what I do, which I mean, back in the day when I was just like a young punk in high school, and the football kids would treat like my friends like shit. I would think that sort of thing would never be the case, but who knows? Maybe the gap is closing and the internet is bringing all of us, no matter what we're into, no matter where we come from culturally, a little bit closer together. Love from MTL. Love to you as well. It's sad to see artists and friends suffer as they get older. That is true. Arts, between arts and jocks, still enduring or narrowing? Yeah, okay. I think I answered that correctly. Fuck. Come back. Have I listened to any Toby Fox? No, I have not. Wait, hold on. Thoughts on the Undertale soundtrack. Is that Toby Fox? Probably not. But the Undertale soundtrack I do like. I did play Undertale, I think, at some point last year and beat it. Not only like with killing everything, but also trying not to kill anything, which I did succeed at, which was like the hardest fucking thing, which I think is a genius way of sort of like making the game, and a really smart way of kind of like, playing with the player's mind. But I thought the soundtrack was really cool. Reminded me a lot of, fucking Earthbound in a way, and other classic SNES soundtracks too. Hey Melon, what are my thoughts on techno producer Mal Grab? I second that Screamadelica classic review since Andrew Weatherhall recently died. Yes, I think I might have seen a piece or two about that, but I have not heard of Mal Grab, I don't think. I'm going to put it in my phone. Check it out another time. Red Cal X, I know you always pop by these things, and I appreciate you stopping by. All right, and ow! For the fucking 20. And also to you as well, Frank, if I didn't. Ow! Yo Melon, Scotch Dog. Ow! Hey, thanks for coming in, dude. Is this my new streaming schedule? Not a new schedule. I'm getting back into streaming, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing daytime, nighttime. A lot of life stuff is up in the air right now, but we'll be trying to get back to it more regularly now that things are clearing up a little bit. Nice seeing me again. Nice seeing you as well. Also, what was my reasoning for putting the new Disclosure album on my side channel rather than the main? Well, it is an EP, and I'm trying to do more EP reviews over there because the album review schedule is just getting so much more intense as there are so many more albums to cover. If there is a huge EP, like in the case of the Earl EP, which I'm only really doing over there because that's where I have more viewers, that's where more people expect the reviews, and putting it over there is going to, prevent a situation where I do an EP review on the side channel and then I'm getting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 questions. Where's the Earl review? Where's the Earl review? Where's the Earl review? Where's the Earl review? Whereas the Disclosure, I wasn't really getting any requests at all to cover it. But I still wanted to talk about it because it was pretty good. I will probably pop the EP review into my community feed on the main channel, though, so everyone sees it in the feed of the main channel, which is kind of the beauty of the community feed on YouTube anyway. I'm talking really fast and really well right now. God damn, I'm talking like a motherfucker. And yeah, the EP was pretty good. And thank you very much for supporting, continuing to support. All right, George Estes. Hi, Melon. Been following you for years, and I've led me to some the best music I've ever heard. Have I heard the Norwegian pop band Slotface? Their latest album is full of bangers. Love you lots. I have not. I'll pop it in the phone. Bam. Bam. Thank you for the reco. Benjamin Cloap. Ow! Thank you for the 20. Have I ever listened to Say Anything? I have. I mean, it's pretty decent emo-tinged rock music. Not one of my favorite bands, as I think their sound is maybe a bit too sweet and slick. But they're not a bad group. As a band that has grown and tried different things throughout their career, I was surprised that I never reviewed them. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of their best stuff came out prior to me really knowing about them, and even that stuff I'm not all that crazy about, but as far as, again, that pop rock, that pop punk, that emo-tinged stuff that is in that lane, it's a little sweet for my taste, but it's not bad. BD, ow! Would I consider reviewing or listening to Arkells, Half Alive, Sure, Girl in Red, Tessa Violet? Groovy and Under? Are these all separate artists? I will put it in my phone. I can't guarantee that I will listen to every single one of them ASAP, but I saved it, and I will, try out the recommendations. BD, thank you. William, ow, with the 20, thank you. Damn. What are songs that I initially hated in the past 20 years that people would love today? For me, London Bridge by Fergie, basically Proto Brockhampton, Crank That Soulja Boy by Soulja Boy, and anything by Skrillex. I'm trying to think. I need to think pre my review days. Something I hated that I like now. Something I hated that I like now. Shit, I can't think of a fucking... Well, no, an example is definitely... There is a lot of diva type pop from the 2000s that... now that I've had the chance to kind of go back and reassess a lot of it, more objectively and without, sort of being in the thick of the culture that it was born out of, which frankly was very ugly at the time, and very over commercialized and A bit of a turnoff, but still I digress. Britney had a lot of bangers. Britney fucking Spears back in the fucking 2000s had a lot of fucking bangers, bro. A lot of good Britney bangers back in the day. There's definitely some bling era hip hop that at the time I thought was pretty terrible, but has definitely grown on me in old age now that I become like maybe a bit more nostalgic for that decade. Specifically a lot of Diplomat stuff. I will say, like, I didn't like 50 Cent or G Unit at the time, and I still feel like that shit has mostly like aged really terribly. But I think quite a bit of Cameron's and also the Diplomat's debut record is fucking great. I will say that. All right, moving on from there. Did I listen to A Winged Victory for the Sullen album? I listened to one of their records that came out a while ago, but I have not listened to the new one. I'll put it in my phone. Although I've never been a big fan of that band. It's been a while since I've listened to their stuff. I did not hear you talk about it. One of the best, most powerful ambient contemporary classical albums I've ever heard. Yeah, I mean, I've always felt their approach to ambient music is a little underwhelming, and the classical kind of approach to doing it leaves their stuff like a little texturally bland, in my opinion. But new record is always worth trying. And thank you, for the 20. Jesse, we're Speeding Bullet to Heaven, The Big Day, and Foam. Were all these records zeros when you immediately heard them, or was that something that happened? I was pretty sure The Big Day and Foam were going to be zeros the moment I heard them. I can't recall what my initial reaction to Speeding Bullet to Heaven was at this point, but it was probably discussed. How many listens, if I remember, did it take until I finally snapped? Oh, I definitely snapped on The Big Day on the first listen, because that record is like way fucking longer and way worse than it needs to be. I definitely snapped on Foam on first listen too, so definitely snapped on first listen with both. Echo Dork, ow, damn. What do I think of Kendrick Lamar's earlier tapes? Like Overly Dedicated. I can't say I've listened to much more from that era other than that. Maybe some of his early shit off of like a random Dat Piff compilation. But I think Overly Dedicated is okay. It's not amazing, but I just think it's all right. Kendrick was very much in an incubation stage. And look, when he came through with Section 80, while it's not a perfect record, like, he has some amazing fucking bars and song concepts on that record. Like, he was bound to go places. And that's that. Hey, Melon, I've recently discovered my love for gritty, dark, emotional country music. I like Tyler Childers. He's pretty cool. Sturgill. He's pretty cool. Shaky Graves. They're all right. Anyone else I should check out? Best teeth in the game. Shit. There's fucking... yeah. Who the fuck is that guy? But in the chat, what is the name of that country artist with the mask and everything, whose voice I'm not all that crazy about, but he's pretty cool. And he got nominated for a Grammy too. Put his name in the chat, please, for the love of fucking God, for our friend here. And there's also Waylon Jennings. He's got some outlaw country stuff, but he's an older artist. But Waylon Jennings as well, I would recommend. Excuse me. Excuse me. Some Merle Haggard as well. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, Anthony, if you haven't already, I'd recommend checking out Water From Your Eyes. They're an eclectic left field pop group that's definitely worth your time. Okay. Popped it in my phone. Water From Your Eyes. Ow! Thank you, Jake. Moving on from there, we have Galactic Thrust. Anthony, Fandango, diss track by Galactic Thrust on YouTube now with music video. Wow, damn. It's with a fucking music video? You guys dissed me with a music video? Okay. It's in my phone. I'll check it out later. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Better be good. What's my take on modern dark electronic music? Generally fine. I like dark music generally of any stripe. And if you're making dark electronic music, that sounds kind of cool to me. There is this new EP of techno music that I thought was pretty dark and very texture heavy off of this Bandcamp page called Wang Inc. Wang Inc. Mediterraneo was the name of the little EP, and it's actually a really cool project. I'm hoping to maybe do an EP review of it at some point. But yeah, generally dark electronic music, positive toward it. fine with it. Excuse me. What is my process when reviewing music? There is a video I did on the main channel called How I Listen to an Album, which I highly recommend that you watch, where I can get into more detail with that than I can here. But when I watched a review of Blonde, it seems like I weren't looking into the lyrics as much as the beat and melodies, but with others, you focus on lyrics. Yeah, it depends on how much the lyrics pop out at me at the time, or how much it seems like to me sonically the artist is driving you to focus on the lyrics. And to me, Frank is just a very vibe-heavy type of artist. Still, having said all of that, though, what is my process when reviewing music? It's really a case-by-case basis. Depends on the sound, the artist, the album, the style of music. But generally, there is a lot of listening, re-listening, note-taking, internet clicking, researching, drafting, writing the review, redrafting, rewriting certain things to make sure I am saying them exactly in the way that I want to say them. And then finally, just delivering it in front of the camera. Takes, a few days to sort of get one review out, and I'm trying to work on multiple reviews over the course of one day. But it is what it is. Hey, a lot of love from Denmark. Do I have a favorite Frank Ocean song? Probably Solo, or one of the passages off of Pyramids or something like that, because that's a pretty epic song too. But probably Solo as of right now. Hey, Anthony, love your vids. I often don't agree with you, but nonetheless, I love hearing your opinion. Check me out, My Brother's Music, Atlantis1 on all platforms. Love to hear your opinion. Okay, well, I will check it out. And again, you guys are free to send me submissions, anthony@theneedledrop.com. It's my email, as I do take band and artist submissions over there. Will I review Wilma Archer's track with MF Doom, or am I waiting until Archer drops the entire album? I'm not aware of this track, so I will need to look this up after this stream. But cool that Doom is doing more collaborations with more artists. But again, admittedly, I've not heard that one. I'll have to look it up. What is my favorite song off of Siamese Dream? What is my favorite song off of Siamese Dream? Let me verify. I mean, I'm a fucking normie when it comes to Siamese Dream, but fuck. What the fuck is the name of that track? God, it's been so long, and I bought the CD too. I haven't even listened to it since I bought it. Let me see. No. Yeah, I mean, again, like Today, but it's probably such a fucking normie answer. I don't know. I have to reacclimate myself to that record. Such a fucking normie loser when it comes to fucking Smashing Pumpkins, but whatever. All right, moving on. Moving on. Blah. What the fuck? There we go. All right, moving and grooving. Moving and grooving. Hey, Anthony, fan from the past couple of months. Have I listened to Noel Gallagher's EPs from last year? Are they High Flying Birds EPs? Because, I mean, much of the stuff he's been coming out with High Flying Birds, I have not liked at all, even the latest single. Black Star Dancing, this is Peace and Blue Moon. Love the channels. Keep up great work from BC. Brian, ow! Thank you for the 20. But I've not really liked any of the singles or any of the output he's been teasing from High Flying Birds as of late. So I can't really say that I'm like, digging into the EPs or anything like that. So no, I cannot say I've been digging any of the EP stuff or even interested in the EP stuff based off of what he's been teasing. Liam, I think, has been coming out with better solo stuff lately, but still just kind of feels like a lot of warmed over, Oasis era type ideas. BDI was, I guess, a bit of a change of pace, but, was still kind of terrible. But as of right now, I think Liam's putting out slightly better stuff. Still, I mean, it would be best if they would just get the fuck back together, but that's never going to happen. I'm trying to get into metal. What are some albums that I recommend? If you're really trying to get into metal, like just in general, and you're not into metal at all, I would just start with like the oldest classics and work your way forward. Because if you just start with like some fucking death metal, I don't know, it just may be like, way too outside of the narrative that you would understand if you listen to the older stuff. To sort of like get the approach, because I mean, a lot of that shit is hugely influenced by thrash metal. And if you know fucking nothing about thrash metal, it's kind of hard to see the progression and sort of know where all that extremity is coming from. But still, I would check out early Black Sabbath, Debut, check out, early Metallica, Master of Puppets, early and, also like middle era Iron Maiden, not just Killers, but also fucking Power Slave, that sort of thing. Check out some of the best heavy metal records in the, Judas Priest discography. And then from there, try to acclimate yourself to the big four in thrash. Listen to some Anthrax, listen to some Megadeth, listen to some Slayer, Rain and Blood, all that stuff. And then from there, maybe move on to some of the harder stuff from the 90s. That's probably my best recommendation as of right now. Ow! Echo Dork. Finally, Melon, do I listen to the new single Febuder dropped this? No, I have not. I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that artist. I've seen you shout out Febuder on Twitter in the past. Okay, well, fuck me. Would love to hear your thoughts on the next weekly track roundup. Much love. Okay, well, I'll look up the track, and I'll make sure to pop it in the next weekly track roundup. I will listen to it ASAP. As I have talked about them before, I believe what you're saying. Hey, Melon, ow, Solus. What are my suggestions to stand out as a new artist and be recognized by you, inspired by people like Kanye, Frank Ocean, John Bellion, TTC, and the 1975 listening suggestions, artists, or albums for improvement? To be recognized by me, look, at the end of the day, you want to be recognized by people at large, not just by me. I mean, while I can review a record and say, hey, this is great, check this out, it's not like a guarantee that you'll have like a career after that. You know what I mean? I'm not like a kingmaker, as much as some people may seem to think that I am. But still, having said all of that, look, what's important is to have a 3, a 5, a 10, a 20-prong approach. Put your music everywhere where you think people are going to see it. All streaming platforms, YouTube, everywhere, SoundCloud, everywhere. And, come up with an interesting or creative social media approach. Do some music videos as well, because people are very visual and, music videos are important for getting your shit out there. Outside of that, I'm not really sure. The old ways of trying to get your stuff out there by, if I play it live in front of the right person, or if I put my, flyer on the right sound, on the fucking telephone post, that's dead. It's all about the internet today, and figuring out ways to promote your music or game the system in unorthodox ways is going to yield the best results. And that's all I can say right now. What is my opinion on Fat C? I think he is the most unique and the whole post-emo rap sound bubbling up. I mean, I'm down for a good emo rapper if they're amazing. I'll pop it in the phone, and I will check it out at another point in time. Got that one, but bam. Sorry, I'm going to mention more ambient records because it's what I love. Okay, that's cool. I fuck with a passionate ambient person. Alessandro Cortini. No, I cannot say I have listened to the new or really much Alessandro Cortini. Keyboardist for Nine Inch Nails. That's cool. Album for Say 3 is so beautiful and quietly noisy. Electronic ambience at its best. Well, thank you for the reco. Barreco. And which all of you should be getting this recommendation as well, if anybody here has got an ambient music boner. What are my opinions on Brian Eno's art pop albums? He has like early stuff, Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy and that type of shit. I own those records. I enjoy those records. Green World is, he's kind of moving into ambient territory a little bit, but still, there's definitely some elements of art pop on that record, and that one's pretty decent as well. But, his zany records, his weird shit, the records that, definitely bands like Devo were listening to, I think are pretty good. I think they're good LPs. Here Come the Warm Jets. Yeah, hella underrated. I agree. I actually enjoy early Brian Eno like more than I do any like Roxy music stuff or anything like that. That's much more my bag. Would I review any Future Funk, Young Bay or Eve, XI? I'm not against Future Funk in general. I just haven't really kind of like heard a lot of stuff that's like stopped me in my tracks. As a lot of Future Funk to me is like, the samples aren't really treated all that creatively, and a lot of it is pretty derivative of itself. But when it's on, I don't mind it. But that's my take. That's my Future Funk take as of right now. Eiffel Tower LOLJK has Sadder ATL hit my ears yet. I have not. I will pop that in the phone. But no, that artist has not hit my ears yet. We hate ourselves anyways. Let's Eiffel Tower sometime. What the fuck are you talking about? I wanted to be more specific about dark electronic music. I'm talking about heavy modern dubstep and rhythm. Examples are Excision's Apex album or Virtual Rot's German Engineering LP or EP. That last one sounds pretty promising, but I've not heard either of those. And more dark or I guess heavy aggressive dubstep to me sounds pretty cool, conceptually anyway. Can I say hi to my cat Gordy? Hi Gordy. Hi Gordy kitty. Come here, little baby. Come here, Gordy. Come here, Gordy kitty. I love you. Oh, let me pet you. Oh, let me pet you, Gordy. Oh, I love that baby kitty. He's watching your amazing live stream and is very impressed. Well, what's up, Gordy? You're the best. And Keith, ow! Thank you for the 20. Hey, Melon, ow! Thank you, Regveer. Hey, Melon, how come I don't post written reviews? I just make money on YouTube, and YouTube is where I do my thing. And I prefer talking over writing a lot of the time. Comes more naturally, as you may see. Also, can I recommend me an album that deals in mental health? Father John Misty's God's Favorite Customer deals pretty deeply in mental health. Also, a lot of tracks off of Slow Ties. Last record deals in mental health. A lot of records, do these days. Earl's Some Rap Songs in a way as well. But those are some suggestions. And I hope you get through this dark patch. I hope you feel better. Space Fun Clubs, thoughts on Ninja Sex Party? It's not my style of humor. I think it's maybe a little too obvious and on the nose, but their original stuff is pretty great. Yeah, I'm not crazy, and I think their covers records are trash. I could not stand the covers records, but their original stuff, I get that it is entertaining. I get it is fun. It's just not all that entertaining to me. And look, don't take my word for it necessarily. The type of stuff that I find funny and the type of comedy I enjoy, typically like nobody gives a fuck about. So maybe what I think is funny is not funny at all. So, don't take my word for it when it comes to comedic anything. Maybe take my word when it comes to music, but, I guess don't take my word when it comes to comedy. But, I'm really derivative and uninspired, and I didn't quite get why they made it onto the record. But I'm glad you're digging it. I can't seem to get any other Death Grips I can't seem to get into any other Death Grips projects than the Money Store. Any tips? That's weird, especially since like Bottomless Pit is like very Money Store-esque. I don't know why. And Ex-Military is generally so good. I mean, maybe re-listen to Bottomless Pit because there are a lot of beats and grooves on that one that are pretty fucking Money Store. You know what I mean? Maybe try revisiting with that one. But if you don't like every Death Grips project, you don't have to. It's fine. Ever thought about reviewing film scores? I have, but I'm not too crazy about the concept, as a lot of film scores are just there to sort of like aid the visuals of the movie. And, it's almost as if something is missing if you're just listening to the film score and that's it. That's just my take, though. Bobby Krilic did the score for Midsummer. That is true. And I did enjoy that film score, and I do like that film. Maybe it would have been worth reviewing at the time, but I ended up missing it at this point. I mean, look, respect to film scores and, respect to Krilic too. But it's not anything like, I'm personally passionate about. I much prefer, concise albums and clear-cut songs and that sort of thing. It's just a bit more, interesting to, dissect for me personally. When all the intent is sort of focused on the listening experience and that's it. Not so much the visual experience and how it relates to the listening experience. What are my thoughts on the idea of voting for a candidate you don't like very much to stop someone you think is much worse from winning? If what you're saying is, or if what you're asking me is, am I an accelerationist? Am I Bernie or bust? I'm personally not. I think that it is important generally if, the choice does come down to Trump and Joe, even if it arrives at that point in a very seedy way. Like, I will vote Joe because overall that's going to mean less damage to the infrastructure of our democracy. Still, having said that, though, if it came down to Bloomberg and Trump, fuck that. I'm not voting at all because I personally see no real difference between those two candidates. And in a lot of respects, there are very few differences between, a mainstream Democrat like Joe and Republicans just on economic issues. But still, having said that, I do believe that, it does make sense just from a preservationist standpoint, to vote for whatever candidate you think is going to do the least damage, even if the lesser of the two evils is not an ideal choice. Moving on from there, moving on. Gordy, got that one. I can't seem to get into any other Death Grips album. Yeah, I got that one. Okay, so I am missing a lot of ones that did disappear. I'm going to try to go down and get to some of the ones that I might have missed in sort of like, the $10 and $5 range and all that shit. I apologize to everyone who's... Shit, come back down, please. This is so much of a pain in the booty. So much of a pain in the butt. Boop. Okay, and am I going to be able to see the older ones? Like, come on, YouTube. Like, show me the fucking older ones. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Will I review more music in Spanish? I'm not against reviewing more music in Spanish in general, and I know that Natalia Lafourcade dropped some new stuff, maybe a new record soon. I mean, look, it's just like with an English artist or an artist singing in any tongue, whatever it is. It's all on a case-by-case basis, and if I like the music that they're making, or if I think it's worth talking about to you. I don't pick music in any language just to be like, okay, well, now I'm going to review an album in this language. At the end of the day, it's about whether or not I think the music is worth having a discussion about. Got that. Favorite polarizing album of all time. Lulu is my favorite polarizing album of all time. Got that one. I commented on Zero's post. Am I a Smash fan? Yes, there was a video of me playing Smash with Zero if you look it up on his channel. What do I think of Burzum's dungeon synth material? I think it's boring. How do I feel about Kendrick Lamar's and PG Lang thing? I mean, could be interesting. Rock the Dragon, Head Chala. What's my take? I have no take on that clean frame. Mac Lethal. What do I think about Mac Lethal and his 27 styles of rap? I think it's kind of a gimmicky concept. I'm not interested. What are my thoughts on Alter Bridge? They suck about as much as Nickelback does. Moving on. Who's better, Jack White or Josh Homme? I think I like Jack a bit more. I'm more of a Jack guy. I'm a Jack man. Yeah, I'm more of a Jack guy. Love my reviews. How do I keep educated on new forms of music and musical technique? I don't know. Just trying to keep in touch with what's relevant and pick up as much information as I can about whatever is new and burgeoning, as I'm reading and listening, and just trying to, just remember those characteristics and see where else they might come up. It is very hard to keep up with, I'm not going to lie. It's not something everyone has the time nor the interest to do. Thoughts on the new Stalg and Gura project. Contrary to how I've defined music in the past, I found the project hard to digest. I've not heard it personally. I will pop it in the phone. Could be interesting. But thank you very much, Snave Wolf. Would love if I reviewed my fans' music again. I did do a reviewing your music segment a little while back. I probably will do maybe one at another point this month or next month. Thank you very much, Ambula. Thoughts on Faye Webster's Millionaires Club? I have not heard it. Bro, Collision Course was the one where Linkin Park and Jay mashed their out. Oh, Jay-Z and Linkin Park. I always thought that was kind of corny, frankly. Yeah, that's really how I felt. I thought the Grey album was more interesting at the time, honestly. When Danger Mouse, did the Jay-Z songs with the Beatles tracks. I thought that was cool. But Collision Course, it's kind of cool that it happened, culturally speaking. But, I thought it was kind of corny. Boop, boop, boop. And that's why I didn't remember it. I like indie rock, and I feel like indie rock and pop is similar and formulaic sounding for a genre that's supposed to introduce a new sound. What's my input and band suggestions? Look, I would go back to a lot of the 2000s stuff and a lot of the more freaky, jittery stuff that came out back in the day. In the classic shit, your Modest Mouses and your Arcade Fires and that sort of thing. I think indie rock has gotten to a point where it has become very derivative and very one note, and it's kind of settled on a singular sound. Whereas back in the 2000s and the late 90s, it wasn't nearly as homogenous. I don't know what to say about it beyond that. It just kind of sucked that things settled out that way. Thoughts on Watsky? Have I heard the album he released today? No, I have not. Not very much a Watsky fan. I don't anticipate I'm ever going to hear another album or song from him that I like, which is why I haven't really been keeping up with anything that he's done. So I don't know. I'm pretty like tuned out of Watsky at this point. Melissa, I got that one. Have I listened to Dan Kroll at all? I have not. I cannot say that I have. When are we getting that workout for thickness video we've been waiting for? Maybe one day. You'll see that maybe one day. Brand new TDAG or Deja N2. The Devil and God. Probably Deja, though I'm not a big brand new fan in general. Elliott Smith, worst to best, not right now. Deathcore can be meh, but what are my thoughts on Red Chord? I can't say I have any thoughts on Red Chord, honestly. But I did think that new Infant Annihilator record was pretty fun, for a deathcore record. Huge inspiration as a music critic. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Thoughts on David Berman's ultimate untimely passing? I thought it was frankly sad. It's sad that he's kind of struggled with those feelings for so long, but I guess, it's just tragic. That's really all I can say. Would I ever do a collaboration with Todd in the Shadows? I feel like I'd rather just keep Todd in the Shadows. You know what I mean? Like, he's a really cool guy and I love his unique style and everything, but I don't necessarily, agree with a lot of his opinions. I think he's kind of picky, and people think I'm fucking picky. I think he's even pickier than me a lot of the time, which is fine. But I want to keep Todd. I want to maintain the mystique just as someone who enjoys his content. Radiohead bracket 1, when? Maybe this year. We'll see. Excuse me. Should YBN Corday have won best rap album? Not necessarily. I don't think so. I mean, I think Tyler should have been in another category, and if Tyler was not in the hip hop album category, then maybe Corday should have. But thoughts on the new Dance Gavin Dance track? I have not heard it, but I should try to remember to retweet it. Most cringe video I've ever made? What are some of those cringe videos I've ever made? I don't know. Probably a lot of my 2009 reviews, if they were still up, honestly, but they're not. Thoughts on Panicland? I can't say. They're Greta Van Fleet for Green Day. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. Panicland? Joshua, thank you very much. Favorite album of 2020 so far. It's mine is definitely the new EPM, not EPMD. What the fuck am I saying? HMLTD record. I know you did a review on the Yandhi leaks last year, but with more and more leaks. Yeah, I know there were more leaks, but I haven't listened to them yet. I'm not sure if I'll end up doing a review though. Is there a chance to see Montreal? Got that one. What's my favorite Joey Badass project? It might be his. It still might be 19. No, I think his last one is maybe his best. But I still have a lot of nostalgia for the best tracks off 1999. Please review Dior Concepts by Guapdad 4000. I listened to a few tracks off that and I thought it was just okay. Listen to Dirty Lux when I get the chance. Thanks for putting us on a great content after all these years. Thank you. I got that one. Any advice on someone getting into music? Early interview, got that one. Collision Course, yep, this is Jay-Z Linkin Park. Yeah, I wasn't all that crazy about that. Where's the respect for Wolfpack? I just think they're kind of elevator funk, man. That's just what I think. The bass lines are great bass lines, but it is elevator funk all the way. Any thoughts on anime OPs? No thoughts on anime OPs right now. Most anticipated 2020 release. It is whatever Kendrick is fucking doing right now. That is my most anticipated release at the moment. Thoughts on the JME record? I have not heard it yet, as I have to purchase it to listen to it, and I have not gotten around to purchasing it yet. Blank State or Rottweiler for better closing track? Maybe Blank State. And can I please look directly into the camera and wish Aiden Spellman a happy birthday and call him a simp? Please, thanks, Anthony. I'm not going to call him a simp because I don't know the guy, but Aiden, happy birthday. Thoughts on Eternal Attack? I have not listened to it yet, but you will have my thoughts on it very soon. Not done with it. Why didn't Baroness's Purple make the end decade list? Good question. Very few people have actually asked me that. I felt like it was easily one of the best rock and metal albums in the last 10 years. That record, the production really like got tiresome for me. Listening back to it, like I don't like the way it was produced at all. And maybe what dawned on me with that is that the production was so terrible on their last record. And then I was like, yeah, man, like the production was so much better on Purple. And listening back to it, while it is slightly better, it's not super great either. Certainly not as good as the production on Red and Blue. So yeah, you know, it's kind of a weird case because I loved that record when I first heard it, but I feel like how shitty the production was on the latest record made me look at the production on Purple in a totally different way, and I just ended up not liking it. It's really weird how that fucking works, but it's really odd. Really odd. Got that one. Wait, music from the bands Red Vox and Sith Lord, both bands of Twitch streaming group Vine Sauce. No, I've not heard of that. I'll put that on my phone. Sounds kind of interesting. Whoop. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. Thank you. God damn. Finally take a fucking picture, huh? Peggy or Denzel? I think I'm a little bit more Peggy right now. Yeah, I mean, but, you know, Denzel is great, but I'm a little bit more Peggy right now, I think. Thoughts on 3 Days Grace? Never got into them or never really cared for them back when they were popular and making radio rock. Listen to the Irish hip hop group Versal. I have not. Love from Brazil. Love back. Hope you guys are doing okay. Thoughts on the Little Dragon tracks? I thought the last Little Dragon track that I heard was pretty good, and I am looking forward to their new LP. So, yeah, I'm not crazy about Oh Wonder. Can't say I know much about Oh Wonder. Bernie 2020, I agree. Favorite Megadeth album? I was saying their first couple. Check the new Suicide Boys album. I did. I talked about it in the new YNO review. I thought it was a bit of a return to form, but, you know, not like mind-blowing or anything. Hey, Anthony, which song in the Wise Blood album is better, Andromeda or Movies? You know, for me, it's all about fucking, I can't remember the name of the fucking song. I just listen to way too much shit. I feel like as I'm listening to more stuff, I still retain the songs and the sound and even my preference for the records, like in my head. But the titles of things, just like fucking, I cannot fucking for the life of me remember the title of fucking anything I haven't listened to in like the past few days. But really for me, it's all about Every Day. Like Every Day is like the fucking rager off of that record. Need love every day. Like I fucking love that part. But if I had to pick between Andromeda and Movies, it's probably Andromeda. To me, Movies is a bit much. You know, or at least it doesn't hit as hard as Andromeda does for me personally. Hey, I'm part of a not so serious group named Boof Boys, and we dropped our first project, Huckleberry Finn Chip Spark. Wow, that is a weird ass fucking title, bro. I'll put it on my phone. But that is an odd title. Bob Dylan. Thoughts on Deltron 3030? Classic project. Wish there was more to it. And Kid Koala is a fucking genius on the fucking Wheels of Steel. Super underrated DJ. All right, moving on from there. And, you know, the Kendrick PG Lang thing, I'm not sure. I mean, looks kind of cool. Could be cool. But I still want to hear that fucking album. Can I elaborate on my time with NPR? I was listening to the weekend music review thing. I kind of hate to listen to two dudes because they have bad opinions. Do I have any dirt on them? Which dudes are you talking about? Are you talking about Sound Opinions? Are you talking about, Bob Boylan's music show? I mean, either way, I have no dirt on either of them. I don't know any of them personally. I do have a lot more respect for the Sound Opinions guys. They're like, you know, long time Chicago music critics with, you know, a lot of talent and a lot of taste and a lot of experience, and you know, love their stuff. And I think you know, especially Jim DeRogatis has some good opinions, and, you know, recommends some great stuff whenever I happen to be listening to the show. So, you know, shout out to Jim, and shout out to Sound Opinions. But no, I have no bad opinions or really, you know, anything to say negative, you know, about my time at NPR outside of you know, it was just kind of difficult trying to pitch my show and just make it more popular and get them to buy into it. So I just, you know, went on to YouTube. So I just went to YouTube and things ended up working out for the best. So, Dude, yeah, baby, yeah, got that one. Got that one too. What's an album that never fails to make me cry? A song that definitely gets me all teared up all the time is Landslide, Fleetwood Mac. Don't know if there's a whole album, though, that makes me cry. And that Mac Miller song would probably still fuck me up today if I listened to it again. But thoughts on Jack Stauber? Great YouTube channel. Very entertaining YouTube channel. The music I think is okay, but, together with the YouTube channel is like fucking aha. It's very creative and fun. Ooh, got that one. This, I don't know what this is, but Lone Chemist, thank you. Got that. The Elder song I did retweet. I will be talking about it more on the weekly track roundup. Soul Coughing. Never been huge into Soul Coughing either, man. You guys are throwing me these fucking 90s, like 2000s rock bands that are just like, I remember like, hearing them on the radio for a moment and, didn't really care for them all that much. It was okay. But just, ended up kind of like passing by me. Favorite Danzig song? Fuck, it's got to be One Off the Debut. And the intro track to his sophomore record is amazing too. But Twist of Cain is a great one. Love Twist of Cain. And Mother's, fucking classic. Thankfully, I remember the fucking song titles of that. Didn't need to look that up. Let's see. You missed it, but Swan's Worst to Best. No chance of that happening right now as I'm a bit busy, but I will think about it. What do I think of Very Noise, that new Igor song that came out a month? I didn't listen to that one, but I do fuck with some Igor. It is kind of a fucking strange music, but I did not listen to that one. Listen to Sebastian. No, I did not listen to the Sebastian. Got those ones too. I have listened to some of the early King Gizzard stuff, 12 Bar. Quarters and Mind Fuzz and all that stuff. I think Mind Fuzz is probably the best out of those, though. I think the stuff they would end up doing later is better. Did I ever listen to Rainbow Goblins by Masayoshi Takanaka? No, I did not, actually. That sounds kind of interesting. Pop that in the phone. And I've always wondered, got that one, Christina the Queens, Joshua. Have I heard of Shady Nasty? I have not. Sydney Punk Band, Sign of Royal Mountain, Always Mac DeMarco. Sounds interesting. Sounds interessante. Thoughts on Panicland? Yep, yeah, I got that one. When am I going back on the Sardonicast? I mean, most, if not all of those guys have my, Twitter, my DMs or whatever. If they want me back on, they could have me back on at any time. Also, are there any other podcasts I'd like to go on? It would be fun to go on Joe Rogan, but I don't think Joe Rogan, fucking fucks with music like that, so there'd really be no reason to talk. But yeah, that's probably all that I'd be interested in appearing on as of right now. I'd recommend Chris Raygun's podcast. Oh, is he doing a podcast? I gotta look that up. The Snark Tank. Love you, Melon Dad. Say So is going to be a smash. I hope so. Got that one. Would I consider listening to the Arkells? Got that one too. Great to see. Yep, I am into that. I got that one. Toby Fox got that one. Love You Fantana. 100 Gex remix will be album of the year. Possibly. It is a good fucking remix. On a scale of 1 to swallowing a whole rabbit, how hype am I for the new Code Orange? Swallowing a whole rabbit, assuming that's the better one. What do I think? Got that one. What do I love so much about Kate Bush's songwriting? It's very whimsical, and I just feel like she has a very powerful voice and sings with a very theatrical tone that I like. It doesn't always work for me, but I think it's pretty good. And what do I think of Public Enemy breaking up over disagreements? Yeah. I mean, look, really at the end of the day, it's like a disagreement with like Flava Flav not being sort of like in with the message and really just like with the schedule of the rest of the group. I mean, as Chuck and everybody else in the band had sort of signed a public statement saying that they're doing all these live shows and events and Flav isn't even like at them, and he's sort of more focused on his weird dying reality television show career. I mean, it's cool that what came out of it, but it's sad that it kind of came at the sacrifice of, his significance in this really important hip hop, group, but whatever. So Bernie 2020, yeah. Am I a fan of old school Memphis rap, Memphis horrorcore? Some of it, though. I would not say I'm an expert or anything like that, but I have caught a few great releases off of Rate Your Music off of getting recommended through there. Watched a documentary and one of the speakers compared the Memphis rap scene to the Norwegian black metal scene. I mean, maybe in a way. I would need to know more about it. I'm eating cake with my bare hands. What's up? Would I do it? Yeah, but I would just be like really unhappy with having to wash my hands after. Classic Sonic soundtrack review would be fun, I suppose. 80s alternative music, favorite alternative 80s albums. What are some of my favorite 80s alternative records? I mean, a lot of my 80s alternative, favorites are just a lot of new wave and synth pop, like a lot of OMD and New Order. Love New Order. Love a lot of post-punk and art rock that came out around that time too. So, like 80s era Wire and stuff like that. Para Ubu, love that band. Yeah, I guess that's what I have to say. Also, as Nardwar called them when I met him, a Depeche Mode, a soft cell, that sort of thing. Got it, got that one too, got that one too, got that one too, got that one too. Hi, Melon. Did I ever listen to Did My Best by the Voids? Came out back in December. I think I missed it. I might have missed that track. I thought it was pretty solid, better than the Eternal Tao. Can I get an ow, ow? Ow! Just because you asked. Any thoughts on Aurora? I have none. I got that one. Got that one too. Personally, Rush worst to best. I'm not familiar with the entire Rush discography, especially the post-80s stuff. I'm not all that well versed in. It would be tough to sort of do a worst to best because I'm not like really familiar with that era of their discography at all. But and also I do think kind of the early era stuff is kind of weak. But that's neither process. Got that one. Love from Denmark. Got that one. Got those ones. Totally failed at remembering Smashing Pumpkins album song titles. 'Cause I can't remember shit. What are some albums considered classics universally that I think are overrated? Also, how do I feel about Congratulations by MGMT? Reviewed it back in the day. I don't know if my review is still up. Probably not, but I think it's a really good record. I think it kind of shafted by critics. Yeah, I guess at the time, vaguely, if I remember, like it wasn't a very well-reviewed album, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really good record. But classics that I think are overrated, I'm not too crazy about a lot of like Built to Spill. I don't quite get the appeal there. Excuse me. Some Dinosaur Jr. stuff too that people freak out about, though. They do it. They do have some great LPs, but a lot of very like chill, somewhat like underachiever, slacker type indie stuff doesn't quite meld with me all that much. I will say that. Yeah, it sucks that South by Southwest got canceled, but you don't want to be responsible for spreading that type of fucking disease. Sad that HMLTD, hopefully you'll be able to see them at a later point. Favorite filmmaker? Definitely Terry Gilliam's a really good one. Von Trier's a really good one. Tim Burton's really good too. Those are just some off the top of my head, I suppose. Hey Melon, also I used to have a really big not even a film buff, so I don't know why the fuck I'm looking it up. Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I thought they were pretty good. But yeah, those. But I feel like a lot of his films just like rework the same fucking tropes over and over and over, and like it does get a little tired. got, what's my, no, I got that one, saw that one. I saw quite a few of these. I thought I was missing more of them than I did. Did I ever connect spiritually with Grateful Dead? No, absolutely not. Are there any albums that would be on your year-end decade list, but aren't because you didn't have the time to review them? No, not necessarily. I was pretty careful about putting all the records that I wanted to, even ones I didn't review, on the list. I mean, maybe there were ones I didn't review because I didn't know about them and they would have blown me away, but I mean, I guess they would have made the list, but they didn't because I didn't know they existed. Got that one. Ooh, yeah. Got the Gordy one. Have I heard Avondale Bowling Club? I have. I think it's okay jazz rap. Okay for New Zealand. In general, I'm not like, crazy about it, but got it. Luke. Collab with Sean C, please, and listen to Scott James. Don't know if I'll listen to Scott James anytime soon, and I did collaborate with Sean C a while back. I think it was on a Lil Sims review, but I don't know. He seems like he's doing well, doing his own thing now. Boo-doo-doo. Am I at the bottom here? Like, what the fuck is going on here? I feel like there's more here, but it's not like letting me go down further. What the fuck, YouTube? Jesus Christ, this platform. Hoo-doo-doo. All right, it's still going. Everything seems like it's, why is this still like up? Okay, what the hell is going on? Ugh. Am I at the bottom? Sticky fan, like, get me to a point where it's like, what is happening right now? I feel like diving into that. I lost touch with reality, lost touch with the current existence of everyone in the chat and everything. Report the bots. Are there bots? Jesus Christ, that sucks. Do I care much for Australian indie rock? I mean, some of it's cool. DMAs, they're just like a fucking Britpop band, just like kind of, well, I mean, I guess I heard some stuff from them recently that didn't sound like that, but when I caught them, they were just doing like a really bad Britpop set. I can't say I've heard of Hockey Dad though. I'll pop it in my phone. Might dig it. Was watching when you talked about Atlantis 1, must have been my brother, the other room. He forgot to mention Memories is our favorite. Oh, okay. Where is Strong Women? Oh man, these are these like, okay. Man, like what the fuck? Why won't this work? Okay, there we go. Report, put user in timeout. I don't know. Can I just put this person in timeout? God damn, the bots suck. Collab with Sean C. All right. I am going to try to be here for just a little bit longer. And if any other questions pop up, I guess, I'll just try to take whatever pops up. Looks like quite a few people are still here. Although it's like, I don't know why this isn't like updating. Looks like it's just like the chat is like fucking frozen in time for some reason. I don't know why. It says the stream is going good in terms of like, the fucking, like it's, still like streaming okay. And now it's just like blank. That makes sense. It says I'm still going. Says stream health is okay. But yeah, I have no ability to communicate with you guys. Is this a go to live control room? Okay. All right, just fucking bring me there, YouTube, please. Like, I don't know what the problem is. Just go. Just go Power Rangers. Just bring me to where I need to be. Bring me to where I need to be, please. Bring me to where I need to be. The hell? YouTube. What the hell, YouTube? Dashboard. Please. Please, YouTube. Please. And that's very odd. What I'm seeing on the screen now. What the fuck? YouTube? What the fuck, YouTube? Live dashboard. Just YouTube, please. Okay, here we go. We're back in the control room, so it says. And there's like literally nothing here. Why is there nothing here? I don't know what the hell's going on, man. Come on, man. in my best Joe Biden voice. Come on, man. Can you bring me anywhere? Okay, let's see. Google.com. Okay, definitely something wrong with my internet. And I don't know what it is. Because it's just like, it says here, the stream's okay. Or no, it's not. Like, what the fuck is going on? Let's see. YouTube.com. Firefox? Come on, Firefox. Don't want to wait here all day. Thanks, Firefox. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't even know if you guys see me at this point. Maybe you don't even see me. Maybe it just looks like I died or something. I could have been talking for the past 30 minutes with nobody even, with me not even knowing that the stream was dead or something. Though again, like it says over here on OBS that everything's fine. So I don't know. What the hell's going on? Got some dead Kennedys here. But I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what the hell is going on. Ooh, 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 yeah. You know what? I'm going to go. Ooh, 100 Gex presents 3 Clues, the world tour. That looks cool. Ooh, 100 Gex world tour. That's sexy. All right, I'm going on YouTube on my phone. Going on fucking YouTube on my phone. And I'm going to my channel. And I'm going to see if I'm like, okay, I'm live here. And I'm live here on my phone. And I'm watching myself live on my phone. And for whatever reason, YouTube or Firefox will not allow me to go to my YouTube live dashboard. But I can watch myself over here. How do I decide which albums are the stand-alone reviews or the Why You Know reviews? It's just really dependent on how much of a demand is there for the review, how interested I am in talking about the album. It's really a case-by-case basis. How much I think I can really sink my teeth into the record too. Not all records start as Why You Know reviews. It's really a case-by-case basis and a weirdly complicated process of just emotions and preferences, and it's all a fucking mess. But I get it done because I feel like there are a lot of records I would like to comment on, but I don't literally have the time to review everything. I'll try to take any others that pop up over here, I guess. Looks like there's still 1,000 of you guys hanging out. Have I listened to Mogwai? I have. I love some Mogwai. Young Team is amazing. Wow, there's quite a few bots in here being annoying. Eternal Take, Atake, Atuka. I will be reviewing that first thing Monday, hopefully. Have my thoughts changed on the Whole Tillier's Home Like No Place? Not really. Whole Tillier I think is just okay. Or Joyce Manor's Never Hungover Again? Not really. I think that one's just okay too. Pitchfork had it on their best albums of the decade of the 2010s. I was wondering if I still felt the same. Yeah, pretty much still feel the same. Any thoughts on Wax Fang? I wasn't a fan of their most recent album, but La La Land, The Astronaut were both nearly perfect IMO. I'm not a big Wax Fang guy either, but I will save that one because I'll just remind myself to check out the new LP. Maybe I'll like it. Oh, got a few more. Okay, what are my thoughts on Cold War Kids? Ooh, subpar band. Few good singles, but never had a classic. Also has Sleepwell Beast Grown on Me. It's still a pretty good record. I can't say I love it all that much more though, but it is a good national record. And my thoughts on Michael Jackson's Dangerous album. Dangerous is okay. I feel like his last great one is like bad and that's it. Did I listen to the Phoebe Bridgers song Garden Song? I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little underwhelming. I did like the weirdly dark and psychedelic kind of alterations to the vocals though. I've heard you talk about System of a Down's discography, but Steal This Album, all of their discography. Have I talked about all their discography? I don't recall I've talked to all that much about Hypnotize. I mean, I have talked about it a little bit, but Steal This Album's a great LP. Don't deny that. What are my thoughts on the album, and would I rank it? How would I rank it in their discog? I mean, I definitely like it more than Hypnotize and everything past that point. Yeah, I think it's really great. Maybe not as great as the debut, in my opinion. But it's really, I guess, just kind of like Toxicity, debut, then Steal This Album. Those are probably the top 3 for me. Moving on from there. Hey, Melon, what are my favorite U2 albums? Probably just Joshua Tree and, maybe War as well. Thoughts on Dominic Fike so far? I think he has potential. I think he has potential. I don't think we've heard much more from Dominic other than potential. Song with Kenny Beats was okay. Appearance with Halsey was fine. I guess I'm waiting to hear a bolder and better produced record. High hopes? Any high hopes for the kid? Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. Thoughts on Paul Simon's Graceland? I haven't listened to it since college, and in college I was not impressed. I'm much more into Simon and Garfunkel and Paul Simon's debut, but maybe it's something I need to revisit. I mean, I know the sound of the record, and I know when someone is obviously like, in the case of Vampire Weekend, like hugely influenced by it, but it's not something I've listened to in a long time. Distill and the self-titled are better than Elephant Thoughts. Disagree. Elephant is amazing. It's maybe there's a case for Day, but like Elephant is definitely way better than the fucking self-titled for White Stripes. Not a question, but wanted to thank you for the HMLTD record. It is a great record. Do I know Chloe Peglag? Melon, I don't. Singer from Quebec. Sounds cool. I cannot fucking believe my computer is still trying to get me on this page, and I'm literally reading this shit off my phone. Anthony, what kind of guy are you when I work out? You an arm guy, core guy, leg guy? I try to do everything, although my legs are already fucking huge without doing much leg workouts anyway, so I don't do too many leg workouts. But I do like, I do like doing squats. I do like doing benches and, free weights and dumbbells and that sort of thing. Pull-ups, love doing pull-ups and rows, push downs and curls for the girls. Melon, looking for some pop recommendations. Been vibing with Dorian Electra, Charlie Gex. The new Guppy is pretty fun, although that's not purely a pop record, but going to review that soon. Will Travis ever top Rodeo? I don't know. I suppose there's potential, but as of this point, maybe not. Let's argue. Thoughts on questions are uninteresting. Get absolutely grilled. Chat. Thoughts on? Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Thoughts on? Okay. Get absolutely grilled. Chat. You shit on the chat. Good for you. Progressive Voice has been pulling 3K concurrent viewers. How does that make you feel? That's cool with me. I mean, he streams a lot more regularly than I do, and he has much more, provocative titles for his streams. Meanwhile, I'm over here with my shit all fucked up. So shout out to Progressive Voice for getting all those streams. And again, he does it more regularly than I do, and he does a good job. Hey, Anthony, I have only recently began seriously considering the notion of making music. Ow! For the 20XL, thank you. I've come to fall in love with this form of expression and want to try my hand at hip-hop, but is music as easy to make as you once said? Look, I mean, it's very easy to make music. Is it easy to make good music? No. But you have to give yourself the time to suck and fail and be bad at it to actually advance. And train your ear and, just give yourself the physical talent and ability and muscle memory to be able to execute, perform, write, create. Making music is a great endeavor, even if it's just for you. It doesn't have to be like, this is going to be my career and it's going to take me off to this place and I'm going to become like the most famous, most passionate artist ever and everyone's going to love it. It doesn't need to be that way. You can just make music for the fun of it. You know what I mean? But make some fucking music. A serious question. Am I a socialist? I would say at this point I'm like a social democrat, and I agree and see many of the critiques of socialism on capitalism and think they're totally fair. But look, I'm for social democracy. I'm for moving in that direction, and if we move in that direction, and there's still a ton of fucking problems that just are still not solved, and still major threats to the well-being of society and democracy, I will be open to moving even further left than that. But as far as like what is politically possible at this point in time, I think jumping from where we are now to embracing more socially democratic policies is probably the best we can hope for if we're not talking about a revolution here. I personally will keep pushing for that and advocating for that because it's important. At the end of the day, as much as I like Bernie Sanders, he's not a god, and this isn't really about him. It's about the policies that he pushes. If Bernie did a 180 on all his policies tomorrow, fuck Bernie. Thoughts on Fiery Furnaces? Definitely one of the more underappreciated and eclectic, musical duos of the 2000s. Blueberry Boat getting a classic review. That could actually be fun. Let me write that down maybe. Fiery Furnaces. And think about it. Consider it. And I will take this recommendation that you have placed as well. Snarls. Thank you. Have I heard of Sego? They have a really cool talk rock vibe. No, I have not. Talk rock, favorite genre. I'll look it up. And do I plan on doing a review of the Wasted Shirt album? I thought there were some really bad fucking songs on it. There was one track on it where was it the guitars or was it the vocals that were just going heep, 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 heep? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is the point of this? Like, what are you doing? You guys are like two of the biggest legends in the underground right now, and you're fucking just like, what are you doing? So it may just end up in the Why You Know review, as there were parts that I thought were painfully bad and other parts that to me just felt like kind of obvious, like, oh, this is exactly how I would imagine Brian and Ty would collaborate with each other, like in the most obvious way. But we'll see. We'll see. There are a few good tracks on it. Is Blur's discography worthy of a worst to best? Potentially, but I would rather do a Gorillaz worst to best, frankly. I think outside of Think Tank, they are. What are your thoughts on Modern Life is Rubbish by them? That one's good, but I prefer, I think I prefer 13. I've never heard your thoughts on Conan Moccasin, Soft Hair. That's Conan Moccasin, if I remember correctly, is Hypnagogic Project, isn't it? Conan Moccasin, let me remind myself, do, what I'm talking about, do. Yeah, it's neo-psychedelic. It's psychedelic pop, neo-psych. Again, never been a huge fan. Jazzbusters especially I thought was very faint, and thought the same thing for Caramel too. I get that it's not supposed to be super bold or in your face or anything like that, but just generally felt underwhelming for me. And I don't know if I ever listened to Forever Dolphin Love. I don't think I listened to that one, but yeah, Caramel and Jazzbusters just didn't do anything for me. Maybe I will at some point hear Forever Dolphin Love, but it's not a project I'm super crazy about. I'll try to do a few more here as we are getting to the 2-hour point. Thoughts on Planet 1999. I was going to try their new EP soon, as that came highly recommended. Lou the Human's newest album. How do I feel about his newest album and him quitting music? Is he quitting music? I thought he was just coming out with like new freestyles and stuff on his Twitter. Is he quitting music? If he has, I haven't heard. If he is, I find that unfortunate because I think the guy had a lot of potential. And the new clips that he recently dropped had some good bars in them. Have I listened to the Architects records? Aren't they like a progressive metal band? I'm pretty sure they are. And if they are, then I have, and I am not a fan. Let me double check. The Architect. That's probably not the group or artist you're talking about. Drew the Architect, the Architect, the Architects, the Architects, Architects. Yes. Okay. I am familiar with this band. And no, I'm not into their stuff. Not into their stuff at all. The prospect of bringing gent and metalcore together is like maybe one of the most non-boner inducing things I've ever thought of, or anyone's ever thought of. But That's just me. Hey, Melon, missed my question. Thoughts on the PewDiePie versus T-Series meme in general? It's boring, and I don't care about it. Thoughts on Marina and the Diamonds? I thought her last record was bland as hell. Love and Fear record. Thoughts on it? Yeah, I just thought it was a bland, forgettable pop album. What is my opinion on Ryan Beatty's albums Boy in Jeans and Dreaming of David? I did talk about his past couple of records in Why You Know Reviews, his newest record and the most latest Why You Know Review. I think vocally he's just not able to carry an entire album by himself, and a lot of the manipulations he was doing on his voice on the last record were goofy and unflattering. I ain't doing pinche. I ain't saying that shit. That's probably some crazy shit I don't even know. Hope all is good. The other stream, other than the stream, but CJ Fly Pro Era, I know he dropped his new record. It is on my calendar. I am going to try it out soon. And I did like one of the teasers to it. Kashmir is Led Zeppelin's best song. I don't know about that, but I do think Physical Graffiti is maybe their best record. I don't know. Start to end, it's grand, it's epic. It is a great song. It's an amazing fucking rock song. I do not deny that. Ain't really a song, though. It's an experience. That's kind of true, too. It does take you to a different universe, as you said. You've mentioned the downfall of rock music with your Not Good review and your Fall Boy and your Slaughter and the new Green Day album. What can save it? Honestly, I mean, I think, things come and go. If rock dies, that's fine. What ultimately matters is the revolutionary spirit, the youth, the attitude of rock music is not confined to rock music. It's confined to whatever new generation is going to come up and define themselves musically by their own terms. And, ultimately that is what I hope endures, no matter what. Not whether or not kids are playing guitar, but whether or not kids are taking the shitty fucking world they've been handed to task through the art that they make. Thank you, Patrick. Do a worst to best for Luna's discography. Well, maybe their new EP might be their best. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good EP. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thank you very much. Again, I'm sorry that, this whole fucking internet browser here, Firefox, went to shit. Firefox is usually really trusty. And let me see over here. What the hell is going on? Twitter.com. Bam. Twitter just fucking loads. Loads like a motherfucker. Although not really. I don't know what's going on with maybe my Firefox is just shitting the bed right now or something. Let me try reopening it. I don't know. Not now. Let me see. Restore previous session. Put all that shit down there. And okay, wow, that's crazy. And yeah, I just fucking, damn, you move out of the way. Window capture. Yeah, that is very odd. I just sort of totally quit and left my browser and then reopened it, and now it's working fine, and this loading page is fine. That's fucking fucked up and annoying, but I guess what it is. Have not heard the new Adam Lambert. Can't say I'm really a fan of Adam Lambert either, so I don't know. The Fringe is my best rec for Sego. Okay, thanks for taking these questions. No problem. And thank you for sticking with me despite the issues. That is always greatly appreciated. The Sightless Pit is on my calendar for this week to listen to it. I have not listened to it all yet. I got that one. Okay, I appreciate you guys sticking with me, through the weird technical difficulty here. I think I'm going to end the stream pretty much here, though I am going to look at some of the shit you guys are saying in the chat. The new Uzi sucks. Wow, is that true? A new Cupcake. I have not heard the new Cupcake. Animals as Leaders. Not a fan. Merzbow worst to best. The best one is, and the worst one is. R.I.P. Joe. Yes, R.I.P. Joe Rogan. Rest in peace to Joe Rogan. Love that guy. Guys, stop saying Drake is dead. Drake is not dead. Sweet Trip Classic Review. I'm sorry I failed at doing that one. Elliott Smith, R.I.P. Cafe Tacuba, not a big fan. 1975 New Stuff, man, come on. The 1975 New Stuff so far has been okay. You know, some hits and misses. I'm not, you know, anti 1975 or their new stuff. That birthday, you know, whatever party song kind of sucked. Let's Let the Sun Talk by Mavi. I thought he was just like really derivative, just like very Earl-esque. I'm not crazy about it. You know, it's I get that if you're into that sound and that style, you'll love it, but I think it's just okay. Check out North Lane cover. Anco Worst to Best. Trader. Someone says Trader. I'm a Trader. Not a big Not a Surf fan. It's funny that people are still into them. And Orville Peck. Yeah, Orville Peck was who I was talking about earlier. Trader. Trump 2020. No way. Trader. Dillinger Escape Plan Worst to Best or Best Album. Maybe their sophomore record. Rodeo is Travis's best album. I think so, as of right now. New Viagra Boys. Yeah, they have a new EP. I'm going to do that. Do I like Fugazi? I pretty much have Fugazi's entire discography, so yeah. My sunglasses are sick. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thoughts on Kissland? Yeah, I'm not all that crazy about it. I have a review out of it. You can check it out. Have I heard of Dermot Kennedy's music? I have not. Dragged Into Sunlight record. Do they have a new one out? Let me write that one down. Dragged Into Sunlight. I didn't know they had a new one out. Boys Noise, best EDM artist. I don't know about that. Bad Apple thoughts. I don't have any thoughts on Bad Apple. Young Gravy is pretty cool. He's a nice guy. Why no reviews on July Talk? I don't know. Who's July Talk? I can't say. Show those guns. Show the guns. What's going on with the... Not much going on with the guns. I got to get, once the coronavirus is gone, getting back in the gym, buffing these guns up. Ugh, I got some nice separation going on here, a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah. If I'm turning you on, type top me into the chat. Type top me. Top me. Type out top me, please, in the chat. If this is hot to you, I want to see it. Anybody who's into this, type top me. There you go. Let me see who's into it. Top me. Oh wow, you guys really want to get topped. Wow, there's a lot of people that want to get topped. Wow, I'm not bottoming you. I'm not bottoming anybody. Damn, you guys are really want to get topped. Explain your tats. I do not explain my tats. It is not something I do. But I'm glad you guys want to get topped. I mean, hey, listen. Honestly, I'm taken. Unfortunately, but if I wasn't, I would top all of you. You would all be fucking topped. Believe me. Hey Anthony, big fan of your channel. Just wanted your opinion on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Was it the best soundtrack? It was a good soundtrack. Also, the game Road Rash 64 had a pretty good soundtrack too. But the Pro Skater soundtrack was a lot better. Dead Kennedys and all that shit. A lot of good punk music on there. Phil Elverum, Worst to Best would be fun. Though, again, no time as of right now. Huge fan from Korea. That's amazing. Thoughts on Ashtung Baby. That's a pretty good U2 record. Thoughts on Q-Tip and his solo projects. I'm not too much into Q-Tip solo, but Q-Tip generally, great rapper, unique flow and style, great lyricist. He's amazing. Cold Ones When. Maybe when I go to Australia at some point, but no plans to do that soon. Stan Luna. I fucking do. Excuse me. Will I ever admit that I actually love Drake? There are things that I love about Drake, but there are things that I just wish he did better. Can you tell me about your time at NPR? Also, the new guys on the weekend. The new guys on the weekend suck. Yeah, you sent this earlier, and I responded to it. You might be able to rewind the whole thing and see it, but I don't know what guys on the weekend you mean. Are you talking about All Songs Considered or like the Sound Opinions guys? But I do fuck with the Sound Opinions guys. I think they're good. MSI Worst to Best? Ooh, man. Frankenstein Girls is the best and everything else is just like the worst. Why is it? Stop fucking doing that, YouTube. Any thoughts on the band CCR? Creedence Clearwater? I mean, they're great. On a midnight special, shine your ever loving light on me. Frank Turner, he's got some pretty, revolutionary, politically charged songs. I just don't care for him vocally, But respect to the guy for doing what he's doing as well as he does for as long as he's been doing it. Gonna listen to the new Fantagram. Never been a big Fantagram guy. As much as I feel like I should like their very, groovy indie-tronic brand of pop. I've just never really been big into Fantagram. Hey Melon, Venerology or Pulse Demon? Probably more Pulse Demon, but who the hell knows? Depending on the situation. Have I seen Porter Robinson or Madion's live show? No, I have not. Madion's. Madion's. What the hell am I doing? Cherry Bomb is better than Flower Boy. Dis-a-fucking-gree. Too Fucking Young is not on that record. Have I heard of Black Country New Roads' work? Yes, I have, but don't they just have like one or two songs? Make more fucking songs, fuckheads. Where's the rest of the songs? Will I review the new Havoc album when it drops? Maybe. I thought their last LP was pretty good, so potentially. Newest single dropped last week. Ooh, I gotta write that down and look that up. I didn't know they came out with a new one. Boop. All right, I'll take a couple more. Caught Alex Cameron in Sydney last night, and Country Figs went off. Awesome. That's a great song. Is it still your least favorite off of Forced Witness? Now, it is my least favorite, but it's still a good song. It's just like my least favorite amongst a lot of very good tracks. You know what I mean? It was one of those situations where I was kind of forced to pick a least favorite track because, I have to pick a least favorite track. But it's not a bad track. It's not a bad song by any means. Will I review the new Havoc? I got that one. Does an album have to be 10 to be a classic? No. An album just has to sort of withstand the test of time and be influential. And just generally be good, at least good. At least like, a 7 or an 8 or some shit to be a classic. But, it doesn't have to be a 10. Plenty of classics out there are 8s and 9s. Check out Don't Know What's Normal by Shintaro Sakamoto for a really groovy Japanese guy. Okay, sounds good. A groovy Japanese guy, you say. What do I use for my post-processing on my RE320? Thoughts on your also, what is my shotgun mic for reviews? It's a Rode mic. It's a RODE. It's a Rode one. For post-processing on my RE over here, I don't use fucking anything. This is just fucking straight into the mixer, then straight into the computer. I know that's kind of like a no-no or some people freak out, but personally, I just like the way it sounds. I like the way my voice sounds in it, untouched. Maybe if you don't have as beefy a voice, it's something that you would want to process. But the RE20 just sounds, 320, just sounds amazing on its own. It sounds amazing on its own. And I guess that's another thing. This is an RE20, I think. It's not, I don't know if it's a 320. But I digress. Thoughts on Standing on the Corner. Checking out what I did after getting into some rap songs. It was good. I thought it was good. It's a record I wish I'd, gotten into at the time. Yo, Ant, the guy that made Ram Ranch dropped like 300 Ram Ranch themed songs, and I should review them all worst to best. Anthony@theneedledrop.com. That's my email. Send me some of that Ram Ranch goodness. Anthony, why you no review Bambara also? Yes, Bambara. I got to remind myself. They came out with a new record, didn't they? And the Viagra Boys EP, I know. That one's out. Let me write the Bambara down. Bambara. Somebody told me it sounded like fucking... What the fuck did they tell me? They told me there was another post-punk band it sounded exactly like. If it sounds really derivative, I might not talk about it. But if it ends up being good, who knows? All right, guys, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for a lengthy and enjoyable sort of bit of a return live stream here. It's been good. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. It's been engaging. It's been sexy. And I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully, which happens during the day. Don't know if all of them are going to be like on during the night or anything. But again, good time. Taylor Swift's new song. I have not heard it. We'll have to look it up. And go from there. All right. Love you. Anthony Fantano forever.